This sense of the precarious is something one often feels in New Zealand films. A feeling that something awful is about to begin. But it also seems to me that this lonely road through this indifferent landscape, this isolated space, is the story of cinema in New Zealand itself.
Highways in the New Zealand Gothic thriller represent a space in which the unresolved anxiety in the national consciousness cannot be ignored. Snakeskin, Mr. Wrong, and Coming Home in the Dark all follow protagonists who leave the comfort of our constructed European cities and venture into the land in which they have no claim, no identity, and lack the skills to survive.
They can't hear us. We can't hear them. We got no idea we're even alive.
For its first two acts, Snakeskin resembles the American road films Alice idolizes.
It seemed to me like the safest fucking country in the world, and I hated it.
Her dream for an American adventure is realized when she and her lovesick friend Johnny pick up the mysterious Texan cowboy Seth. They are pursued through the idyllic South Island landscape by skinheads, stoners, and bikies, archetypes of the Hollywood road film. The glamour of sex, drugs, and rock and roll is tampered only by a foreboding sense that the road holds an older and more dangerous power.
What's this thing? Plastic. You know what that's for?
No, not really.
What about those?
Patron saints of America guiding us on our journey.
Alice.
Well, they may look after you in the big city, girl. But you're on my land now.
As nighttime sets in for the final act, the landscape becomes ominous and gothic. The conflict between these subcultures becomes trivial, children playing out fantasies born of fiction in a place that poses a far more existential threat. As the mountains close in, the consequences of Pakeha New Zealand's adoption of an idolized foreign culture and subsequent disregard for the land and its mana become terrifyingly realized. Mr. Wrong uses the road between the urban and rural to explore violence and expectations of women in post-colonial society. Meg feels out of place in the city, but coddled at home. The highway in Mr. Wrong exclusively connects these two spheres. While frustrated by the poor treatment she receives from men in the city, Meg largely brushes it off. In keeping with imported English expectations of women, Meg is unwaveringly polite and even apologetic as men take advantage of her hospitality and good nature.
Wasn't very nice to him, was I? Perhaps I should have made him a cup of tea.
But on the highway, the violent implications of these social norms rear their head. The vision of New Zealand as a safe and equitable utopia projected by our cities and outwardly idyllic domestic sphere fades away, and one of New Zealand as a wild place never truly tamed and hiding predators on its fringes emerges. Coming Home in the Dark projects similar nocturnal anxieties onto the New Zealand highway. The effects of the Commonwealth's dark history of institutionalized violence against children comes shockingly to the fore. The road represents a journey for both parties to the source of repressed memory, though Mandrake is clear that his encounter with Hoagie is purely coincidental.
What are the chances, you think, of us meeting like we did?
Well, it's a small country, mate. Took us in, spit us out at 17. Where do you think we go?
The cruelty he and Tubbs subject Hoagie and Jill to is not revenge, but an inevitable byproduct of the mistreatment of the state.
Oh, there we go.
There is no refuge from our collective settler anxiety on this lonely road, far from the cities and suburbs we have constructed to convince ourselves that we claim dominion over this harsh land, and that we have nothing to fear.